Hello, everyone. Hi there. Good to have you here. Please don't get sick of me. This is probably the last time I'm going to stream for like a week or so, not till next week. So should be good. So anyway, let's get this started. Just doing a makeshift situation over here that you'll probably see in the closing credits. All right. Hopefully I sound okay too. And I want to welcome everyone back who's joining me. What's up, Wade? I didn't see you earlier, man. We missed ya. What's up, Susan? Susan Wilson's in the house. Carol Pearl, everyone. Let me go ahead and turn on the rest of the world. Let's invite the rest of the world in. We're going to be covering 3D in Photoshop, in Dimension. We could even talk about C4D if you want to. I just noticed that a lot of designers are really getting into 3D, and which is why we make tools, and actually why 3D has been in Photoshop for a while. But we also did have to make another app called Dimension as well. So we're going to cover those. We're going to have a lot of fun. I would like to also kind of talk about like why you would use 3D as well. So that's a whole whole conversation that we can have. You'll see some of these images behind me. I don't know if they look 3D or not. Like, let's see. Here, obviously, so this skull is 3D. Wow, and everything else is pretty flat. Oh, fascinating. So I use 3D skulls a lot, but either way, Afroja, I see you. Ania as well. Thank you so much. Let's switch on over to my desktop. We can see what I have going on in here. I have this lady, of course, jumping, right? She's doing her thing, right? So I have this image. I also have this hand. So a couple different options that I'll be working with. I'll probably step up and do this one, say halfway through, but I'll start with this one right here. Okay. Handle it. That's what I titled it. Right, so I just want to have some floating orbs and spheres and artwork kind of like right there. Not quite in their hand, but making them also feel powerful. Awesome. Hello, Nahid Hussein from Bangladesh. Awesome. So happy that you are here. So we'll jump in here and we'll make this party happen. Yeah, so the 3D tools in Photoshop have changed a lot since Dimension came out. Oh, interesting, Carol. I did not know that. But nonetheless, let's kind of jump in here. And yeah, this is what people will do. It's like, yeah, you'll take a sphere. Oh, why can I not select things? Oh, because I can't see my keyboard. Right, and we do. We want to make a sort of floating sphere that we could work on. Right, obviously it's going to make it flat. And typically, if we add a gradient to it, we're just doing our best to simulate 3D is what we're doing here, right? We're like trying to simulate 3D in this case, which might not be too bad. I can actually make 3D in Photoshop. So we want a floating orb above in his hand. We'll go to 3D. We'll go do new mesh from layer. And then we have all these basic shapes. All right. Reverb Mike, we're tricking ya. Sphere, there we are. Boom. And it says, hey, do you want to switch to the 3D workspace? I typically say no, but you can. All I really want to open is this 3D panel. So this is the most important thing that you want to play with. This 3D panel, right? So we'll be mindful of the layer. In fact, we could just get rid of this layer altogether. Call this one sphere, right? And we can see a number of options right in here as well. So it's obviously going to change. Typically when you have this 3D panel up and you have like another layer selected, it thinks that you might want to extrude it or wrap it around something, or a mesh from a depth map. That stuff gets a little bit more advanced. The big thing is we're making Dimension, and Dimension has all the things that you want. So we're like kind of taking all this stuff and putting it in Dimension. Yeah, that's exactly right, Stephen Underwood. The wine bottle is a basic shape. I'm sure it was late on a Friday night and one of the engineers just snuck it in, but I'd love to hear the backstory. So we want to have this 3D panel open, and we want to have the properties panel open, right? So here we could see, oh, here's the environment. Hey, maybe we could turn off shadows, for instance, right? Oh, here we go. Cast shadows. Let's turn off. So these are the three panels we need to keep in mind. Your 3D panel, your properties to change those 3D elements, right? And just make sure you're on your layer. So right up here, we can see the scene, the current view, the sphere. Oh, we don't want it to cast shadows because that's weird. Uncheck that. Boom. But we do want it to catch shadows in case we add more spheres in there. Yeah, Carol, I have not done a depth map from images in a while. So it'd be a nice little refresher. So here we are. I have this sphere selected. And I get these controls on it. I'm not going to spend too much time in here, by the way. Let's grab it in the center. Scale uniformly. Why am I not? Right. I'm on the struggle bus. Let's take a look at the current view. You're not going to rotate. Notice this changing a lot. Right now I'm changing the camera, position and perspective. That's because I have the current view selected. So I'm moving the camera around with the move tool. Or I can move the object around. If I select sphere, now I'm going to be moving the object around. Right? So it's very important what you have selected in here. That's all. Why is this not shrinking down? I'm losing my mind. Not to worry. You could always, for your object, go right over here at coordinates. You know what? Yeah, I get it. 675. Let's make it 300. Just like that. Shrink it down that way. So much easier. Zoop, move it up. Move it over. Let's do something kind of cool. Let's actually make it look like the Earth. Why is it not scaling up when I move it? Love and life, you know. Now it's looking a little oblong. That's okay. I accidentally moved it right over here. Let's just take this to 300. Not to worry. Right up here, you don't know it, but right here we can unlock uniform scaling. So again, I wanted it 300. 300. In case you screw up anything, just go right there. Zero that out. Okay. There's sphere material associated with it as well. Can we make the sphere into an aquarium render? Like underwater? I don't know what you mean by aquarium render. You want it underwater? Can you wrap a graphic around it, Uriel? We will do what Uriel suggested, which is a great idea. Let's make it look like the Earth. Guess what? NASA gives you sort of an unwrapped Earth right here. Perfect. That's what I needed. Thank you so much, NASA. You are so kind. Let's download that JPEG right here. It's huge, but let's download it. Murray, that is fascinating. Murray, make sure you're on the pre-release for Photoshop for M1 Mac. Okay. So just so you know, everyone, the Earth is not flat. That's the only time you're going to see the Earth flat, right there, okay? Let's try to depict the world as it actually is, and that's going to be the sphere material. We have this base color, right? Right in here, we can edit this texture. Bam! Just open that up, and here's your sort of blank image. This is going to be fascinating. Flat Earth. Open that up. There it is. We can copy it, paste it in here, right? We can do something kind of funky. Let's just paste this in. Let's size it down a little bit. And let's do image reveal all. So for our material, there we go. For our material, what we did is we went to edit texture, pasted in an image, resized the sort of canvas of that image, and now when we go back, here's our earth. Fantastic. Now we could actually see when we rotate it around, everything's starting to make sense. Does that work for you? I could slide it right here. Ooh, nice. You got it. Yeah, try that. Get hooked up with the pre-release for sure, because you'll get features before we roll them out to the public. So that might be really helpful. So this is pretty cool. I probably want to match the lighting. So here we have this infinite light, right? This infinite light. We grab this, and I love how it works in here. I can say, hey, you know, where's that light coming from? Kind of above. Yeah, basically pretty much straight above, like so, right? So we can see how that looks. It's not quite realistic. I would probably want to blur it out. I'd probably want to render it too, right? So right down here, for this object, you can render it. So let's just hit render. And it will do it at a higher res render. And we can play with it some more. He's got the whole world in his hand. Oh, good. I like that URL from, yeah, Bible school, basically. Let's just sing that on in Sunday school. Was there, like, motions that came with it? He's got the whole world in his... I don't know. Chakar, hello. Good to have you here. Fantastic. So anyways, this is rendering. We'll see it render. That's cool. And we could do more with it, right? I'm not going to wait for this to render, so I'm going to exit out of it. I'm just going to do this really fast as well. If we want text, jump in here. Earth 2.0. I'm sure that's a name of some sort of sci-fi novel. But let's pretend like we're making a book cover. Earth 2.0. There we are. Let's change the color. Make it a little brighter. Hey, let's go with white. Okay, so this time I'm just going to extrude text. Super easy. Right over here. Our two most important panels we're dealing with. 3D extrusion, right? Let's hit create. It sets up a brand new, wait for it, a brand new scene. There it is. Earth 2.0. Right? So now I have two layers that are two different 3D scenes. Click right here. Take this Earth. Let's do an extrusion depth to it, right? So we could play with its depth. We could take this and start twisting it and twirling it, which is really fun. Twirl it. Let's taper it down. And let's move it vertically. So it looks like it's kind of coming from the Earth there. Okay? So something like that. The light is not working out too well, so we'll just select the light and adjust like that. And there we have sort of Earth 2.0. What? That's so sweet. Earth 2 was a TV show for a hot minute. Thank you, Roland. You were too kind. So that's kind of the Photoshop portion of this, right? The cool thing I wanted to show you is that, yes, you can kind of create and you can twist text You can do these fun spirals. You can get really crazy with it too. So like if you do happen to have a unique shape using the pen tool, let's see if I could do this really fast. Oh no, dang it. I always do that. Want it to be. Let's try this really quick. Wait for it, people. Oh, help me. Help me, people. Let's do this. Let's go custom shape tool. Let's grab a heart. Why not? Come on, Paul. Hurry up. Heart. So cliche. That's okay. Extrude it. We've extruded that heart. We could select the current view, rotate around it. So there's my heart. And then we can take this, and just to get really crazy, just so you know, let's increase the extrusion. Let's start twisting it. Let's taper it up or down. And then let's adjust the angle, right? Like that. So again, I'm just kind of having fun with this heart, like so. All these materials on each side, see what you get? You have materials on each side of this heart. Again, we get it. You guys get it? I hope you get it. Can you tell I'm just kind of like done talking about it? We beveled this. There we go. Okay, let's move on. You know, I could change all these materials. Big thing is you can make that stuff. You can make this. You can make this fun heart. You could take that layer and you can export anything you make in Photoshop. You could export out that 3D layer. Export it as a OBJ, right? Click OK. And we'll just save it to my desktop and we'll call it heart. So I just made a 3D object from Photoshop. Thank you, Wade. Wade, you're probably like me, where you're like, you know what, just move on. We're done. We're done with this poster. I think this has cool potential, by the way. Because what I'm thinking now is like, let's take this hand. That's just going to be my background. And let's launch Dimension. Wait for it. How's everybody doing? How am I feeling after running a marathon? I ran a half marathon and it took like 4 days for my body to recover. Like just my legs were hurting, like nothing else, but I'm just like, oh, going up and down stairs, forget about it. Here's a new dimension file. Let's move this over. Here's the image that I have. Let's just drop that in like so. There we have that hand. And guess what? Right in here, let's just go ahead and match the aspect ratio and the lights to this photo. There we have it. Oh, is it really just that small? I'm sorry, I have to check this. (1080 by 1350). Did I not export it out at 1080 by 1350? I'm sure it's that size. It doesn't matter too much. Yeah, 1080 by 1350. I don't know why it just made the background. That is weird. Canvas size, that's incorrect. Canvas size. Lock it down. 1080, 1350. There we go. Fixed. That was odd. Lights. Lights are basically the same thing. Got my sphere. Let's drop in a sphere. Drop that in there. There we are. Let's go to the environment. Let's turn off the ground plane. Boop. There we have the ground plane. And now we have this lovely sphere that we can work with. And we'll do a couple of these. We'll just apply some textures to them. Gelatin. Let's take this. Let's duplicate it. Command D. Move that over. It's kind of like the person's juggling, but I want him juggling like, I don't know, cool stuff. You know, cool stuff. There we go. Hold down the shift key and you can resize uniformly. That's what I was trying to do in Photoshop, because now I'm officially like mixing up Photoshop and Dimension with their different shortcuts. Let's do a fun splash. I kind of want to do something else with this splash. Splash is coming later if I have time. Oh, nice. Well, welcome, everybody. Dansky. Love Dansky. He's a legend. It's, you know, and it's a small world. So, you know what? Just be kind to one another. It's just easier that way. You know, it's a small world. So all of this is looking pretty good. I'm going to have some of these spheres come out. So let's just Command D. I want to add some dimension to dimension. So maybe one is closer, right? Like that. Now I want to save my angle or save this camera view. So right up here, this is my camera, but I want to save it. So right up here, I want this to be, you know, the final view like so. Okay. So now I can use shortcut keys, use the keys 1, 2, and 3. 1 to rotate, pan, and then dolly. Okay, because I actually wanted to make sure that this sphere is farther away than these other ones. Bring that forward, rotate it around, and we'll have some fun. Maybe for this one we will do some other, a 3D printed look, a bronze look. Oh, so fun. Clean gold. Oh, look at that clean gold. You can see definitely we're like reflecting in that case. So go to my bookmark, click right there, boom, we're back to where we were. That looks a little funny with that clean gold. Hey, guess what? I got some my own textures. All right, Uriel started watching YouTube stuff, came over from there. Awesome. I'm reading the Behance chat, by the way. It is very nice what we can do in Dimension. So what you end up with is you'll start to build out your own library. So that's what I have. Yeah, guess what? Yeah, I got a skull that I use all the time. But also I have like some cool like dented gold, this natural rough gold. Let's drop that on. I'm just like the look of this gold a little bit better, right? And again, we can move this around. The fun thing we're gonna do, and this is what I love, again, the stuff will overlap. We could render it. Let's just do a little render. Oh, shoot. What just happened there? Oh, I touched my mouse because let's see, what did I touch? Yeah, 2 fingers up and down does a dolly, all right? So that's what I accidentally did. But also what I'm doing is I'm showing you a render. Yes. Oh, Roland, by the way, yes, Roland, since you said substance materials, let's do it, buddy. I love it. I've been like trying to not so casually learn Substance Painter, and then my brain died. No, actually, it's awesome, and I don't think it's that difficult. Everything seems difficult when you first try, but right down here, here's the substance materials that you can make using Substance Painter if you happen to have access to it. Scroll down. Let's do 3D printed on this. Yeah, why not? A 3D printed look on the octahedron. We'll double click because I'm thinking that's kind of cool, but the pattern is too big. So we'll go right over here to the pattern size. Sure enough, we could see it tile, but I want to take the pattern size down. Is it going down? There we go. Tiling does it. Oh, I'm so silly. I don't know what pattern size means actually in this case. It might mean, it looks like it's almost controlling the depth of the inside there. So again, but it's typically size. Okay, so let's do our earth, by the way. So we could bring in our heart that we had spinning around. We could do an earth. And I want to show you the rendering. It's going to be so awesome. So right in here, here's this lovely sphere that I want to work with. And I want this to be the earth. Scale it down. Move it over. I don't know, put it somewhere that's kind of cool. But for this object, and this is what I use all the time, because as you start working on composites and things get complex, use this button, frame selection. So rather than me working way back there, just go boom. Come on, frame selection. Frame selection. Oh, it's going to be the death of me. There we go. Frame selection. Boom. Zoomed in on just what's soon to be the planet. Okay. Now, remember, flat Earth. Again, this is the only time you've seen the Earth flat. This is totally a fictional image of the Earth. Where would it go? Let's put it in miscellaneous. Down here. There's my Earth. We can apply that as a texture now. Let's do that. Libraries. I have everything actually organized by images. 3D shapes. And then your ungrouped stuff. So right in there, just drop it on. Convert to standard model. Just click OK if it says that. A lot of times you'll have to click this because this is a special 3D basic shape that you can control different properties for it. The radius, the sides. So if I take this down, look what I can do with this Earth. Or excuse me, this sphere. I'm controlling the sides. Right? That's because this is a primitive that I'm working with. And that's all you need to know. It gives you additional properties. So right over here, it says, hey, you know what? This is a primitive and it needs to be a basic shape. Just go ahead and click right here, convert to a standard model. It needs to be a standard model. That's it. Let's just drop that on. It'll map that on. Not too well, right? I get it. Because I actually want to take this and make it a fill. Boom. We went from a graphic to a fill. And it's not going to repeat at all. So now that looks great. Does that make sense? We could actually pivot this from the center. And sure enough, there's our lovely globe. Let's bounce back out to our final scene. There's our lovely Earth. Earth 3.0 at this point. And you get the idea. I like a little bit of overlap with these. So let's push this back there. Let's scale it up. Maybe it's like that, so we have a little bit of overlap. Anyways, let's render this now. This is like okay looking. Let's render it. And this is what I've been waiting to talk to you guys about. I'm real excited about this next part. There are other flat planets too. Ooh, quote unquote. Thank you, Carol. Excuse me. You scared me a second when I read that. I was like, Carol, we're gonna have to talk. All right. Space these out a little bit more. Have fun with the canvas. or this render area. But this is what I wanted to do, is this part right here. Go to your camera. Love this. It's actually going to be behind my head, so I better move myself over. Ooh. Right here, focus. Turn this on. Boom. Now we get to set the focus point, because you notice this hand is blurry and then it's sharp right in the center. That's what we need to simulate. So that's what we'll do. We'll set the focus point. We're going to set the focus point, boom, right there on this center one, like that. That's what we want. We want this to be blurry. We want that earth to be clear back there. Everything else might be in more focus or less focus that we can control from the focus point and the field of view, right? So we could actually, the blur amount and the field of view. So I can actually increase the field. Oh, that's the camera perspective. I'm going to increase or decrease the blur amount. And I might change this texture. I'm not crazy about it. It's kind of driving me nuts. So if you don't mind, let's go back into our materials. And let's try this geometric gold. So we still have a cool pattern. And repeat, we're going to take the repeat up. And that's going to make it smaller. So I just think that looks cooler. All right, there we have it. We did it, everybody. We did it. Yeah, this is, you're right, Reverb Mike. This, you know, need some lens flare. You can't add all these shiny materials without adding lens flares. So here we'll do handle it. Just like that. Just handle it. Rolling, I don't know what my GPU is. We could take a look. 2.4 gigahertz, 8-core Intel Core i9. So that's what it is. 8-core, 2.4 gigahertz. So this is not a render, right? This is like a render preview. We'll go to an actual render tab. We could render this out. Real fast. While that's happening, I'm going to point out resources. We're so thankful that NASA gives us those images, but also you can use something like Turbo Squid. So I talk about this a lot. I just did a search for Earth in Turbo Squid with the price of free, because chances are if it's a common object, it's going to be available for free out there, right? So we could see, here it is. We changed this to free. We want to make sure our format's at least OBJ. It's a pretty common format, but I know I can import that into Dimension. So that's what I'm changing it to. There it is. Let's do another planet. Let's do Saturn or something. Saturn rocket, and then all these funny planets. Let's just do planets. Or planet. There we go. Under free. Oh yeah, here's a moon. Mars. Let's download Mars. Right, this is a case where you're going to get what you pay for. Which, in this case, I didn't pay anything for this. So results may vary if it's free. Okay. But sure enough, there it is. And we can bring that into our scene. Yeah, Roland, by the way, the cloud render is not available nowadays. That kind of surprised me, like, and I have to ask about that. Ooh, looks like it's already done. It's interesting that cloud rendering is no longer available. So you used to be able to upload this, and it used to cost. Anyway, we could publish a 3D scene. I could do that and share that with you guys. This is using viewport. Oh, thank you so much. Thank you so much, Roland. You are the best. You do a lot of 3D, don't you, man? Stock.adobe.com. Enter. Free. There we go. Got it. Thank you, Roland. You are the best. So right in here, I went to Adobe Stock, changed this to free, or just hit this free button. But then you just need to sort by 3D. And you can also sort by, say, if you just want the models, lights, materials, you get the idea. Lots of medical stuff. I'm totally going to take advantage of this. This is nice. Ooh, that I might need. Holy cow, 1 of 12 pages. I'm not going to scroll through all this. Doge used to be a nickel. It used to be like I feel like it used to be like a fraction of a nickel. But hats off to everybody who has Dogecoin. There we are, 3D model, Earth, boom, fantastic. Oh, even better, other planets. Let's take Jupiter. Let's grab our Jupiter. What type of lighting? Wait, I didn't really get into the lighting. I would have added a sunlight from the top. So we'll do that because that's a good question. License, save to library. You get the idea. And that's done. That is awesome. So for the lighting, I guess I have a directional light, but I would have done sun. So I'm sorry I didn't get into lighting. I would go sun right here, and then start to play. Let's turn off this directional light. Typically you need a couple light sources just to make it look unique, but I feel like this person's like kind of outside. We can adjust the height and intensity. So we'll start to see, especially since it's a sphere, you could see sort of when it's on top and when it starts to kind of go behind. But again, just dragging that up to almost the top there, like so. And then you have the rotation of it as well. So if you want to put it at an angle, like so. But like I said, you want to have a couple lights in there. So you probably want to have like a nice bounce light. So here's another one. We'll put this one lower from the... I want it on the other side. Like that. And take down the intensity. So that's kind of what I would do with the light. I think I went with the default when I just used the background photo. But, all right. Look at Roland. Mixamo would be a great mention as well. Mixamo is in an interesting space because we don't talk about it a lot. And I don't know why. but has me a little concerned. All right, let me show you something even cooler. You ready for this? Right, so you could download characters, all that stuff, right? It's going to be a whole other situation modeling them and all that. But we won't get into that. I already actually have some Mixamo characters, so you can sort of create them, pose them. Let's see if they're actually available in Dimension. Miscellaneous. 3D. Yeah, I'd have to check that. Or Fuse. Fuse was your desktop app for putting models together. Anyway. All right, so just to kind of recap, there's our final image. I wanted to move on to something else, or at least shows you a couple more things about texture. This already is looking pretty good. Notice that that content's still separated out. So I have this content from the hand. So I can make any adjustments that I want. We have additional layers that allows you to sort of like select objects. So if I feel like the everything's looking pretty good. If I wanted to sort of boost up the brightness of this one so it didn't look so muddy, that's what I would use this selection for. Right? Select that. That just lets me select that. Let me go into channels. Or I could actually probably, yeah, maybe not. There we go. It just allows me to isolate this object and sort of brighten it up or adjust its color. Say we decided we want it a little more yellow or green. That's all I'm doing right there. Kind of tweaking that appropriately. Okay, you get the idea. Sweet, sweet. You have the depth information too, which will come in handy if you're going to upload this to Facebook and you want that nice depth look when you move things around. All right. So John says his characters from Mixamo upload in the T, in like the T pose in Dimension, which at that point you can't really control it. You're going to need like C4D for that. But all in all, I would say that this turned out pretty well. Right, we have this one done. I have about 14 minutes left. Let's close this. Because I also wanted to do like, I wanted to do some things with this, with like ribbons and stuff. Yeah, let's do it. Let's do it. Command J. We'll just make her solid white. All right, man, do your thing. Do it. Maybe a bright color, maybe something like that. I don't know. I do not know. The nice thing is I could change this later on. Let's go with this color. All right. Let's have it brighter on top. There we have it. We're calling this jump. I guess I kind of like challenging myself with by like not giving myself any time whatsoever and seeing what I can come up with. Boom, drop it in. Match image. Yeah, match everything. Do your thing. Create the lights, all that stuff. There we go. Right? This is really just going to be a background like template. Now I'm going to go down to my fun starter assets. 3D. I have splats and I really love these. There was like this splash. I'll drop in this splash. Just positioning it like so. And throwing some materials on it, maybe some colors and things. This might turn out horribly, I don't know. But I just liked the idea of just like having these. Yeah, Wade, we're on the same page. Kind of what I'm having an issue with is the fact that she's not 3D. So I'm like, I actually could extrude her a touch and place her in this environment. Come on, Paul, hurry up. Command J. I'm not going to do all of her. I'm just like kind of cut out this top part because I know it's going to be just a nightmare. I don't need her hair. I don't need this bottom part. Yeah, this is a whole thing, everyone. You're gonna... This is gonna be... This might be painful for some. Create fill layer. Boom, baby. Make it white. Okay. Color fill. 3D. Extrude. Just to make it a 3D object. Help me. Use graphic processors. Graphic processor. Anyway, oh darn it. All right, so all of a sudden I'm having a graphics card processor issue. So we'll go back over here. Sorry, that was anticlimactic. I might do this though. I need a fun splat. All right. I'm sure if I restarted Photoshop, by the way, everything would be fine. But I don't have that sort of time. So let's just do some crazy swirls. There we are, fun swirls. There we go. All right, we did it. We did it. Let's do this. You know what? This temporary material, I don't really want it on in my library, right? Because this is going to be splat. Don't really need the splat. I'm only going to export this out once. Let's come in here and select this object or something else, but we will import this as a place material on selection. There's splat. Hold on. Import. Here we go. So sorry, everyone. This is what happens when I go off script. Let's just drop this in. I'm gonna drop in this laser cut. Okay, really does not matter. Oh, it's a substance material. Let's close that up. Go to a standard Adobe material. Drop it on your object. Here's your brushed material. So this is the pattern that's covering it. I go in here. Keep in mind, you need this image tab. Click right there. Go down here to your splat. Drop it right there. And then it will put it right in there. Sure, there's other things going on, but this is the direction I want to go with this, right? Same thing for this. Drop it on there. Brush material. Boom. And we can play with this some more. Now what I want to do, you ready for this? Sorry, I'm not reading chat. I want to just show you guys this stuff. Yeah, thank you. Uriel, I don't know why. There should literally be import image as, not as an image. You know what? I probably needed the object selected. Let's see if that makes a difference. Import. Ah, that's what I needed. I'm so sorry. Thank you. Place graphic on model and not material on selection. My apologies. There it is. That's what I was looking for. Either way, what I have in here is I have this image map. Obviously, is the texture there. But I can have an opacity map. So I can have something that's black and white. So go back in here. We're just going to have this version. Color overlay of white. So white's going to reveal, black's going to conceal. And this is what I'm going to use for my opacity. Export this out. Jump. BW. Black and white. Now we drop this right on here. And what we get is we get transparency. Do you guys see that? Just in certain parts, by the way, right? And I should have made it look a little bit more drastic, but we definitely have that lovely transparency where it's kind of like poking through. See, right there. That's what I was going for. Right? So I would just crank this up to 30. I would just do something a lot more drastic. The nice thing is now that I have this, I can jump in here and add some more, like remove some more from this piece by adding black, like so. Okay, there we are. All right, done in my last couple minutes. Hopefully this is inspiring you, just kind of dealing with some fun, abstract designs in this case. Letting you know that, you know, when you think 3D, it doesn't have to be just like, you know, architectural renderings. It's right in here. Let's load it back in. There it is. Now we have even more of that transparency. And I can actually even change I can increase the repeat on this. So it's actually giving it more, it's kind of revealing more of that transparency and giving more of that sort of splat look. So hopefully that makes sense. There it is. So give me some time to work on this. Hopefully it will turn into something cool. But the reason I did this is I wanted to create some cool 3D ribbons that would have just been very difficult, in my opinion, in Photoshop, right? So I want these ribbons kind of wrapping around her leg. Let's rotate it this way, right? And it just would have been difficult doing that in Photoshop, sort of creating that 3D-ness. That's all. That's all, people. What does everybody have going on for the weekend, huh? What are you guys doing? I'm doing absolutely nothing. But now we have that motion with the hair. Let's duplicate this. Trust me, as we rotate it and change this, I can make this look like drastically different than what it currently is, right? So we still kind of want to have some of that shape, but now we could have some twirliness kind of coming out of her hair. Right in here. And you get the idea. So that's what I want to do. And the great thing is I could grab this, say, hey, you know what, this splash 2, this brushed color, I could rotate it, and it's just going to create an entirely like sort of different sort of spread of colors. And even as I change this opacity map, you're not going to be able to tell that, you know, it's really just pulling from that one file, right? So that's what's happening there. Thank you, everybody. Time for me to go. I'll render these and put these on Instagram. Thanks, everybody, for watching. I appreciate you. Stay safe out there and call your mom. She misses you. See you guys. Bye.